Today we have a very special guest, my dear friend Mark Zgoda.
What really separates a winner and a loser is, do they see it as an opportunity or adversity?
Since when was winning something that you needed to be ashamed of? Winning is something you should be proud of. You should stand by and own.
I would love to be able to travel and meet other people who are the best in their field and help bring their stories to light, the same way that you guys are doing.
To keep getting to the next level, you do have to take max amounts of risk.
Yeah, that's true.
Max amounts of risk. We put everything on the line. We put all of our chips on the table, not just one time, multiple times.
But if you really want to take responsibility for your life, it all has to be from you and because of you. Life is cause and effect, and everything that you do is just a micro result of your decisions that day. And you string those good decisions together, it's gonna end you in a way better place.
We are back, episode 49. Today we have a very special guest. My dear friend Mark Zgoda is joining us today. Mark is a hybrid athlete, currently training and in a couple days running a 100-mile race. Mark also works for Deloitte for his full-time job and does coaching for individuals that are, one, have a professional experience and maybe don't have that much time to work out and go to the gym, and two, people who are really trying to level up and get to that next level of being a hybrid athlete. So Mark, thank you for joining us today on Discipline to Win.
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. And 49 episodes, that's a testimony to how much you guys are doing. And I'm so grateful to be on today. I love watching these, and it's cool being in it now. So thank you guys.
For sure.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. And obviously we have known each other for a handful of years, but just for everybody listening today, I guess give a little bit of background on who is Mark Zgoda and what are you currently doing, and what are some of the things in your life that have led you to where you are today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I grew up in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. It's a very blue collar area. And growing up, I was always involved with, sports growing up was a huge aspect of it. But I was always doing things on the side to make money. My family had a really blue collar catering service. I was always doing landscaping, and anytime I got a chance to shovel or go do hardscaping, I was calling up my buddies and we were going. So I ended up going to Penn State for civil engineering, because that's always something that I thought I was going to pursue, the construction business. But just through the people I met there, and then just understanding more about the business aspect of things, I ended up working for Deloitte after. And just because I really did fall in love with the business aspect of, the project management aspect of it, trying to compete for bids and not just the actual building aspect of construction. I found out I really liked the numbers game of it all, because it really is just a game. And I kept fitness as something that always kept me really grounded in the whole process. In life, you get busy, and I just feel like the sharper that you are in the gym, the sharper you are in every other domain of life. So being able to now incorporate the two, I still have my 9 to 5 job at Deloitte, and it's very intensive, but being able to teach other people through coaching, that you're able to still train like an athlete. A lot of people grew up playing sports and they loved it, but then the second high school ends, they never really get to sprint or compete again. And a lot of people just lose that feeling of excitement and butterflies before a big game. And, I think the gym and finding competitions like HYROX and marathons is a great way for people to still chase that feeling. And, I found myself recently just signing up for a lot of events. I'm 9 days away from my ultramarathon. So we have a 100-mile race coming up, and balancing work and balancing every endeavor that I want in life. It's been a really cool experience, and I've got to learn more about just life and myself through the whole process. So it's definitely been a lot.
Do people at Deloitte look at you like you're crazy for chasing after these big races, or what's the vibe there with everybody you work with?
Yeah. So I honestly like to keep. I definitely tell people that I'm into fitness, and during account weeks and stuff, and especially when I'm in office, I'll touch on it lightly, but I try to really keep it under. I like have my own personal between fit. I like separating my personal between business, but there are a couple people who've pinged me on teams like, I cannot believe you're running 100 miles. So the whole experience has been funny because, I like being in an office, and I just like to be known as someone that just shows up and does a good job and is like fun to be around. But definitely it's been funny having like even people that aren't on my team messaging me, they see my videos saying, wow, like good luck, brother. They're like, it's coming up. So that's definitely been something that's been cool.
So how's it like? What's the support team you need out there for a 100-mile race? Like how deep are you guys rolling out there?
Dude, this is honestly like its own kind of unique situation in itself because I think this is the first time there's ever been like an entertainment stream on it. So he's streaming it through his entire YouTube and Twitch. So YouTube, they have about 9 million people. And then Twitch, I think that's another like 500,000, however they set that up. So we have seven cars in total following us. Like I pray that during the doc, they really show the logistics behind this because it's a creative nightmare. You have the first truck is where there's literally like a welded camera on the truck where we're running behind it. It's a group of 6 of us like just marching on. Then each of us, there's 6 of us, so there's 3 vans, there's 2 each. That's a support van with about each person needs about 10,000 calories of food to have in their fresh change of shoes. We have a medic in there. And then there's also an entertainment van where, it's people that if we don't want to talk on stream and if we don't want to have the mic in our hand, those people are going to be the ones entertaining people in chat. And it's a circus, and I love it. It's a
That's
lot.
awesome.
And there's also an aid station every 10 miles, so there's gonna be 10 chances to grab and go food, but it's hard to really balance between entertainment and finishing the race. You have to find a happy medium because if we could spend 10 minutes at every aid station and like joke around and make fun things for the audience, that's a win, but then you get out of groove as a runner, like especially for people who've like done long distances, like starting and stopping is half of the battle. It really is. So just trying to find that hard balance, but we have a lot of people out there, and it's definitely going to be we're definitely going to have enough support. That's for sure.
So Mark, just for those people who don't know, obviously, you have a good relationship with a lot of the people in Nelk. You and Kyle are really good friends, and I guess more than just a 100-mile race, like you said, it's an entertainment piece that you guys are putting on. So I guess kind of tell the audience how you got connected with those guys, and then for this 100-mile race, and maybe even some other things that you're working on. How are you combining fitness with entertainment with this new kind of relationship that you have with Kyle and with Nelk and Happy Dad and all those guys?
Absolutely. So the way that I got connected was I was social share, like me and Frazetta were in the same frat. So that's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's
He was
amazing.
also
That
the
frat
Yeah.
specifically breeds a lot of studs. It's hilarious
That's
to
right.
think about. But my senior year, Salim, the youngest member in Nelk, he was doing a college tour, and I had set up the events with like just the logistics aspect of it all. Setting up the party, having Salim and his team come in, and they were going to do their college tour. And then while they were there, me and Mira at the time were obviously best friends. Like we were helping train people together, and just me and him, we were always just best friends. We were always into fitness, and he was eating chicken and rice and had a beer in his hand, and Salim saw that and was like, "You need to be my full-time trainer." So right after college, Salim or Mira moved in with Salim, and me and Salim had always kept like a very good relationship even after that. And once I graduated, like I still because I had transferred in from Clemson, I had another extra semester. So I finished out my extra semester, and I graduated, and I'm working for Deloitte, and I just really felt kind of not in a sense stuck, but I really wasn't sure I was using my full abilities to my full capacity. So just like a lot of prayer and just like asking for an opportunity. And out of nowhere, Salim calls me saying that they have a chance to move down here in Miami. And I jumped on it right away. I was helping him with obviously training the rest of the group, and now through this year and a half that I've been down here, it's really keeping Kyle and Salim is in best shape possible as they can, and just the relationships we've made. You know, Learning from them in general, there's a reason certain people are big, and just seeing them in person, there really is something special about both of them, for different reasons for both. But they really are just unique people in a sense where they have the it factor and they have the work ethic to match it. And that's something you really don't see a lot in life. And, Salim probably has the best heart I've ever met out of anybody. And he's also just hilarious. He's just literally anytime you're around him, you're going to laugh. And then Kyle, I think Kyle is like could be a CEO in a different world for somewhere. He's very surgical in the way where he plans and attacks things, and he really doesn't waste movement. He's very sharp, and just like as a leader in general for the group, it's been really good to just learn from him without really having to like sit down and say, "Hey, can I learn?" So, and then to answer the second part of your question for the entertainment aspect, because Kyle really wants to lean into the whole fitness aspect, because it really is something that we all love down here, and the more you get addicted to the gym, it really is an addictive feeling. Waking up healthy, feeling good, just like having the extra confidence and energy through the day, that feels amazing. So, Kyle is, it's weird because no one wants to just see a video of someone doing curls. Like that really doesn't interest someone. Try and like, I'm even navigating through this. How do you add an entertainment and how do you add like the actual viewership to something in fitness? And that's where I think this honestly, like this stream coming up could be a brand new chapter for like the entire, if you want to say YouTube, which is viewership, just entire content business in general. This really opens up a lot of doors because if you can live stream something like this, it's, you can do an Ironman, you can do any fitness event in the world. If you can actually add fun, entertaining things that people have watched from the beginning of time to actual hard events, that like if you're combining like fun and like the chase of something that the thing that draws people into actually taking time out of their day and watching, if you can combine those two, I feel like it's its own unique field that's going to open up. So, it's definitely, this is going to be big trial and error for this one, but I'm excited because if it goes great, who knows what's next? Like that's the cool part.
That's awesome.
Mark, funny story for you. So Nick and I obviously manage billions of dollars of money together. And when Nick and I first met, it was for dinner. And so Nick's obviously, trying to talk about how good he is with money. And the example he gives me, I don't know how he thought this was helping his cause, but was his budget as social chair of the fraternity, like how much money he was entrusted with and like to buy alcohol every week and everything like that for the fraternity. And I thought it was hilarious.
And you gave him the job, right?
That's right. That's right.
That's right. And I'm sitting right here.
No, it is funny Nick can even attest to this. Learning how to handle that much with having like little to no experience in college,
when you're
like
19,
you
yeah.
find
Also
ways
in
to
that
save money.
environment too.
Yeah.
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 That's about X's and O's end of the day. It really is. That's hilarious.
I mean, they probably give it to one of the most responsible people in the group. So
Yeah, at least people who can make stuff happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Based stuff happened.
Yeah.
That is hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good.
But
got
no,
the job.
Mark, for you, being brought down to Miami like that and being plugged into that group, they're obviously plugging you in because they want to emulate everything you do. So talk me through, like, what's that pressure on a day-to-day basis of, the people as high profile as you're around to where, like, they want you there because they want to, talking about the X's and O's, they want that spotless execution with everything health and fitness. So what's that pressure for you on obviously looking in the mirror and making sure that you have to live that every single day to provide that support to them in their life?
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you for saying that. It's actually a really nice thing to say. But honestly, I hold myself to such an internal high standard that, it becomes very natural because I wake up every day with it takes a lot to get to a mental aspect. And I know you both are extremely high performers. It doesn't happen by accident and doesn't happen overnight. Everything that you do in life is just a byproduct of how well you are mentally set up and just internally, like how like what your framework is that you think through problems, okay? Because say something arises, what really separates a winner and a loser is do they see it as an opportunity or adversity, okay? And for me, I made the decision from a very young age, honestly, that I wanted to be a winner. And every day I've really built small mental pathways to have my flinch reaction be, I'm going to be a winner and I'm going to get through this. And that has just snowballed into such honestly like an avalanche. My daily life is so jam packed with doing hard things that most people think would like how do you like most people see it from the outside and say how do you even have this as like your daily schedule, like how is this your life? And at this point I don't even have that conversation with myself. It's just such a habit from time and time again making the decision that I'm going to do this because I said I'm going to do it. And for example, like I'll wake up at 4 a.m., I'll go run, I'll work out, I'll train the guys, and I'll come back home. That's all before I start my job at Deloitte. From Deloitte, I have to be a high performer. Like I can't just get left in the dust. I have to perform. I learned how to do Tableau data visualization this year. I have to maintain a data dictionary with probably 70,000 rows that's due every end of every month. The pressure doesn't stop because if you're the person who always accepts that like adversity is going to come, you're going to be able to handle it. And that's honestly what I think has been the biggest like lesson for me growing up. And what separates me from other people is that, I know the battle's coming. I know that something hard is going to come and I've already accepted that and I'm getting ready. Like I'm staying ready, honestly, because, you know, the fact that you said to emulate who you are, I don't think that there really is a pressure because I think at the end of the day, you can only fake something so long. You have to authentically be the same person every day. Like this is what you're gonna get. I'm gonna show up every day and 100% is gonna be what you're gonna get from me. Some days I'm gonna be more tired and my 100% some days might be a little less productive, but I swear to God, you're gonna get that 100 from me no matter what. Um,
I love that you said you early on you knew you wanted to be a winner, and I love people that just own that and stand by that because it's gotten, in 2026, 2025, it's like it's so bad to know that you're a winner and say you're a winner. People look at you like, oh, like that guy's just a jerk or he's too confident or whatever. But it's like, since when was winning something that you needed to be ashamed of? Winning is something you should be proud of. You should stand by and own. So I love that, you're not afraid to own that because I think everybody should want to be a winner in
yeah,
whatever they do in life.
absolutely. I think for some people, the way that I break it down is that, you know, like differences in skill makes people uncomfortable. But say if Einstein's next to me, I'm not going to tell Einstein to get dumber or calm down because the world needs more Einsteins. The world needs high performers like him because look at everything that he's actually blessed the world with. You know, there's something to be said about people who perform at the highest level. I'm lucky to be in the same room as him. I would never ask anyone else to calm down, like from how well they're exceeding at their field. I think that for some people, that discomfort when they see the difference in levels of like skill, it's easier for them to change the standard down than to accept that there's a gap up. And honestly, I'm fine with chasing the up. It gives me something to chase. I would rather strive to be more like Einstein than have the world have to play down to my level of learning.
So, Mark, I think something really good for everyone because like Nick and I, we don't have like a 9 to 5. Like our business is our profession. So it's 24/7. It never turns off. There's no like, oh, we just work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Like we work 24/7. It's always on. We're always expected to be on. You're in a situation where you have your Deloitte job, but you also are building a brand and a business outside of that. And I think we were fortunate in the way where for a very short period of time, we kind of did that, but we kind of just hopped into our business and things aligned and we were able to run with that. The more common path I see from a lot of people is they are in a situation like you where they have a 9 to 5, but they're building a brand or building a business outside of that. How do you translate the discipline that you have on a day-to-day basis with your fitness and all the things you do while keeping your job? You obviously have to be a high performer at your job, like you said, but how do you continue to keep up the consistency of building this business that you're building and building this brand that you're building? And then as a part two to that, what do you eventually want that business, that coaching, that brand, what do you eventually want that to be?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So for part one, I imagine it in a sense where, okay, right now I'm using my 9 to 5 to fund everything that I want outside, but I have to wake up and visualize right now that if Deloitte was like plop, like snap of fingers, it's gone from my life, and everything that was set up outside was all that I'm left with, would I be able to survive? You have to, like, that type of pressure makes me focus on, okay, I need to make more plays and I need to hold myself accountable to not just stay in the comfortability of a 9 to 5. Like, if that company just gets destroyed and the market crashes, what do I have set up outside that's going to actually feed my family and help me go do things that I want to do? And, you know, right now it's definitely been, I wouldn't say it's a slow process because all work is definitely beneficial, but, you know, in this game that I'm in, it's kind of an exponential curve where you don't see any results and then you see little results. And then at the end of the day, you're going to see a ton of results. I'm in a very weird field between, like, I feel like I am on a kind of brink of massive success in some way. And just because I'm in the right conversations with the right people and I'm doing all the right things. So just having like that delusional belief that even though it's not there yet, I really believe it's gonna come. Um, it is hard though, because I take so like I look up to you guys in the sense where, you bet on yourselves and you guys built your own brand. A lot of people will never have the like guts to go do that, and you guys doing it at a high level and successfully, like, that is something that people should admire because it takes a lot of hard work and it takes a lot of actual skill in your field. And for you two to be able to do that, it really is motivating for someone like me who's trying to get out of this, just like their own comfortability, because I think it is a personality type. I think that some people are designed to, they want the chance where it's the more effort you put in, the more return you're gonna get it. Um, for Deloitte, and it's an amazing company, and I know just in general, from all companies, it's on a strict salary. It's if you put more work in, you're gonna do good, but at a certain, it's just part of the game. You're gonna get capped. I really like the chance. That's what really interests me about entrepreneurship. That you really get as much as much out as you put in. And that's something that has always been something that's interested me. And to the second part of your question, were you saying how discipline feeds into, can you
Well,
repeat that
more of
part?
what like you what do you want this brand to be? Because you've blown up. Your brand over the last 2 years has, I mean, from followers, but like the content you're putting out. Obviously, you're building the coaching program that you've built is relatively new, that you've at least kind of blasted out to the public. Like, what do you want that brand of Mark Zgoda, or whatever kind of, I know you and Mira kind of do some hybrid stuff together too. Like, what do you want that to be?
Oh, that's a really fun question. Yeah. So genuinely, like at the end game, where do I see it in 5 to 10 years? I would love to be able to travel and meet other people who are the best in their field and help bring their stories to light. The same way that you guys are doing. I want to meet the best at what they do. And I want to just say, what has this taught you about life? What can just the regular person see this about? And I want to add the entertainment aspect of it to it. So for example, I met Noah Olson, lives in Miami, and I was lucky enough to go train with him and do a video. And Noah Olson was a 5-time CrossFit World Champion. He was number 2 fittest man in the world. And, he ran me through his workout, and I was able to really show people, this is how Noah lives. And I think that's a really cool thing that I can show just about anybody. If I love meeting people and I love talking to people about their experiences because, I grew up, my back window in my yard, I would just see cornfields forever. And I always wondered, like, there's probably so much out there. And now that, like, I'm in Miami, I look out my window and I see probably 100,000 windows of just other buildings, and every single one of them has their own life and own story. And it's just the coolest thing to be able to travel and just see where other people are made up from. And at that same time, it's like, it's been something that I've been struggling with is, if I don't even make the most money in the world off that, as long as I really get to travel and just say I did exactly what I set out to do, I might, that's a happy life. Obviously I want to monetize it as much as I can, but for a true passion project right now, that's what I want to do for at least the next 5 to 10 years. I love it. It's been insane. I got to meet Navy SEAL, CrossFit champ, like obviously Kyle and them, and other like big CEOs in Miami I've got to really chat with. But it's been fun. Been really fun.
I would say the biggest thing that, with your goal of, which it seems of just like bringing the best out of the world to the world, basically to show people that, hey, this is all out there. All of those people that you're going to be around, if you can, get to all of those people, all are extremely wealthy. And I mean, you obviously know the people that you surround yourself with, your life generally morphs into the exact same thing. So you're going to become known for, trying to be exceptional at everything you do, the same as they're known for those exceptional things. And then because you're truly passionate about it, money generally also follows that. It's the people that are just chasing, the get rich quick buck and only focus on the money that never generally do anything. Because I think part of any successful story, you have to be passionate about what you're doing at the core, and the money generally just comes with that. For us, it was always about how do we solve as many problems for people as possible, at the highest level possible, and then money just followed that. It's not like in the beginning we were sitting around like, how do we just make more money? Mm-hmm. Everything was tailored around how do we solve problems and make things better for people, and the money just came with that. So generally, if you're trying to, at the core show people this is how you be great and look at all these great people that exist, generally I would say the money is going to follow that, because all of those people, have become successful in everything they do. But I think it's genuine that your passion shows and shines in everything that you want to do. I can, just from talking with you for 30 minutes, can tell it's not just because of you're trying to make money. It's you have all these natural, genuine, passion filled pursuits about you, which is something that, I think a lot of people kind of float through life and they don't have that one thing that's driving them or pushing them that they're not passionate about. They're just literally living a day at a time. So just always having that 5 or 10 year vision that you're trying to manifest. I think if you're not thinking about what your next 5 or 10 years are going to be, you have no shot of it being what you want to be. But if you're thinking about it every single day, you're just moving one day closer to making it a reality. So it's cool to hear your passion and everything that you're working towards.
Yeah. Like you said, I think you really need to know like the where you want to go has to be fixed, and your why is going to be your engine. But you should be flexible on the how. How to get there every day is going to change, and you really can't plan for a lot of the environments you're in. It's going to always evolve and always change. But like you said, you need to know your where, and the why is going to be the thing that stops you from drifting. And honestly, I have a question for you guys. Just because you guys honestly handle billions of dollars, and I love talking about business and stuff. What do you guys think has been the biggest separator from getting you to like the next level in business? I know you said solving problems at the highest level has really helped. The money has followed excellence, obviously, but what did that kind of step look like where you took it from like we're actually able to take this to the stages you're at now?
So it's interesting you say the next level, because we actually just did at the start of every year, we bring the whole company in from all the different states and do an all hands. And the title of our kickoff last week was the next level. So it's interesting. So it's interesting that you say that. It's like it was drawn up. But for us, there's been different chapters. So like at the base in the very beginning, even before I met, like what led to me meeting Nick was I had completely maxed out my time. And level one is, I think for everybody, just like exhausting all of your own time to where at some point there's literally no more time in the day. There's not room for more output. And every entrepreneur has some, I think, epiphany where they realize they need other like-minded people, alongside of them to do great things with. And like that was chapter one for me that led to meeting Nick, was needing to find somebody that was aligned, that wanted to pursue greatness with. And so that got me to chapter two. And then we both pretty much maxed out all of our time, and realized being in the business, and then realized that, to do great things and push even further, that we needed to develop other people inside of our company rather than just us trying to be the best at everything, trying to develop people that are even greater than us at their unique, specific things. And, we did that, created all kinds of different ancillary lines of business, maxed those people out, which led us to where we're at today, which is, for us to get to the next level, it's to build an institution, like a Deloitte. Like everything needs to be institutionalized. Everything has to be, cohesive, to where right now, like a snapshot in time of our business, we have these little like micro cultures, in different locations in different states where everyone does something a little bit different. But if you want to build a true, institutional level brand, it has to be consistent across the board. So that's really our big focus for 26 is bringing that level of consistency across the whole business, getting everybody up to the same performance standards. And you brought this up earlier, everybody when they're insecure always wants to bring skill level down rather than just doing what it takes to operate at the highest level, to where Nick and I have always had like a few B plus or like A people on the team, and then we would always just accept C level people. And at the kickoff last week, I made it pretty clear that like we're building a championship level team and there's no room for C level people. Like everyone has to be able to perform at that A level standard or like get off the bus. You know what I mean? Like we're not going to accept anything lower than one standard. So I think that's a big part of it. A big part of it too is just really getting our team to the next level as well. But yeah, so that for us has been,
the one other thing
chapters,
too,
I would say.
the one other thing too that I'll touch on, Mark, that a lot of people don't talk about, and even online they don't talk about, is like to keep getting to the next level, you do have to take like max amounts of risk.
Yeah, that's true
max amounts of risk. Like we put everything on the line. We put all of our chips on the table, not just one time, like multiple times, where it was like, well, if this doesn't work, we're going out of business. If this doesn't work, like we're gonna have to lay off half the company. Like there's inflection points in the journey that you have to put all your chips on the table if you're trying to do something big. There's really nobody out there that has built anything tremendous. There's people who have built good things off of being relatively conservative, but there's nobody who has built anything that's truly great without putting all their chips on the table, without taking the risk, without going all in, and kind of in a way in your scenario where it's like, well, I'm going to move down to Miami and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to go all in on this fitness thing, and I'm going to go all like there's like that was an inflection point for you. Like there will be other inflection points as you continue to build of, all right, well, if this is going to work, I'm going to have to put everything all into this, because that truly is the only way that you continue to get to the next level and continue to level up. You really just have to wholeheartedly bet on yourself and believe that you're going to make it happen. So that's the one other thing in conjunction with that, I'd say.
And during these inflection points, what was kind of the biggest thing that, kept you grounded, or, when you put the chips on the table, sometimes like I'll post something and like I just have to walk away from my phone. I'm just like, I said it, I did it, like that. It needs to be out there. When you put the chips on the table, obviously it was calculated going in, but like what kept the faith? Like you're just like utter belief in yourself, or
just the work, the belief in the work. I think that, to me, like we've accepted mass amounts of risk, but to me, at any of those points, I never lost a second of sleep and never thought about it, because just the sheer belief that we can do anything that we say we're going to do. And like we've always been in control, where we are always able to execute, to where like where I would view like risk that would keep me up at night is if I didn't have the ability to impact change. You know what I mean? Myself, to where like we've never taken risk where we haven't been able to, will the result we wanted into existence, to where risk where, I would probably be nervous as if I couldn't impact that change. So just having the belief on the team that you're with, the people that, you share your foxhole with, as long as they want it as bad as you do and are willing to do anything, I think that, you're always going to be able to get the result you want, but you got to be willing to do the work. Like for us, there's literally nothing we're not willing to do. We're like so many people, like I'm sure you see it a ton of like, so many people are unwilling to make some very small sacrifice or change to their day, to where like, if you really want max like movement and max results, you got to be willing to make, like literally drop your whole life. To me, that's always been my family. I've, kids, to where like, for me, I'm willing to at any given time, like not see them for any indefinite amount of time, because I'm going all in on any, venture with the company, but that's going to yield results that, is going to impact their kids someday because of those sacrifices, to where there's so many people where it's like, yeah, like, sorry, like I have to be home to like put my kid in bed every night. And like, they're not willing to like literally miss like one night of that. And, the result they'll get from that is like a kid that loves them. But the other result they'll get is like a kid that's not going to have all the opportunities, that are available in the world to where, my kids will. So like it's all give take. Like everyone's got to be happy with the decisions that they make that impacts, everything. But I think the biggest thing is just sacrificing time. And we see it so many times. Like there's, 20-some-year-old kids in the company, and Nick will be trying to mentor them or I'll be mentoring them. And they're like, yeah, I just like, right now it's just tough to try to balance the time. We're always like, balance what? Like you're 22 years old. You literally have no responsibilities. Like your top people will say like, man, it's just tough trying to balance time with friends or like girlfriend or this or that. It's like, what are you literally talking about? Like for me, like I'm 31. Like for me, I did have to sacrifice like my whole 20s. I didn't have really friends at all. You know what I mean? Because like there wasn't time for that. There wasn't room for that. I had to just put every second I had into this business, which is why my life's a whole lot different than everybody who just like messed around their whole 20s. So everything in life is choices. And I think everybody gets, to live whatever the choices were that they made along the way.
The one other thing, Mark, too, is, and you talked about this earlier, is delusional optimism. That's one thing that Nick and I share and that we push onto the entire company is we're delusionally optimistic about what we could do. Like we will, even to people that we're in business with and even to people that we do business with, they will, I can't tell you how many times it's like, well, that's never going to work. Well, that's not, like, we believe that if we have control over it, that we can make anything happen, that we could, as long as we put the work in, we put the effort in, we're strategic enough and we know our game well enough to where give us the resources, the effort's never going to be a problem, we'll execute. So that's the other component is a lot of people will look at situations or opportunity and they will immediately find what is not going to work about that situation or that opportunity, to where our minds immediately go to what is going to work and how we're going to make it work and how we're going to avoid the things that maybe initially don't work and fix them to make it work. So just going into life, which I know that you have and all the people around you definitely have, is that delusional optimism towards whatever your goal is, to whatever you're going towards.
Love that. I love how you bring the accountability and the you take the whole accountability is not what I'm trying to say. Um, yeah, I guess it would be accountability. You you say that given the resources and given the time, we're gonna be able to do it. I like the fact that you said we're gonna be able to do it. Something that bothers me so much is when people put the blame on external factors, like I can't do it because life's too busy. People like to make excuses that puts the power on external things. Like say I want to get a 3:30 marathon, okay? Say I want to go sub 3, okay? I can make a lot of excuses that, oh, it's just the weather's too bad outside. I can't run today. Uh, I like my parents didn't have good genetics. I can't run today. Like people love putting the power on other things in the world, but you know, I like being able to say I'm in control of my life. I like being able to have full responsibility for where I end up. And the same way that, you say when the risk comes, given the time and effort, we're going to be able to do it. That effort is put back on you. You're not going to wait and sit for other people to make the decisions. It's you two taking on the responsibility of making it happen. And I think that is also something I've seen as a common theme between performers and people who like to just sit and just, like drift and it's not even a bad thing. A lot of people honestly don't even know they're doing it. And that's something where you can't really be mad at them for. But if you really want to take responsibility for your life, it all has to be from you and because of you. Like life is cause and effect, and everything that you do is just a micro result of your decisions that day. And you string those good decisions together, it's gonna end you in a way better place.
100%.
For sure.
The last question that I have, and I think would be interesting for everyone to hear, is you're running this 100-mile race in whatever it is, 8 or 9 days. A lot of people don't even understand what that really means of running 100 miles in a singular setting. So I know you just finished your peak week last week. Just walk everyone through what it really looks like at the height of the training of training to run 100 miles and what that training regimen looks like for a week.
So I'll just start off by saying it's not for the weak of heart. You really have to sacrifice a lot and you have to show up when days you don't want to do it. So I actually got so our peak week was the week of New Year's. So this was the first time I've not gone out since like high school. I didn't even watch the ball drop because I had a big race, or I had big mileage the next day. It's certain things where, I would love to go see other people out of I live in Miami. I'm 25. I would have loved to be on a boat, in another life. I would have loved to just, like have, like I'm single, there's pretty girls, there's a million things running through your mind, but you have to have tunnel vision on what you actually want. And I know that the result of finishing this 100 miles with the rest of the guys is going to put me in a better place than anything I would get that night. Okay. And for the actual damage and tax on your body, it is hard. This is professional mileage. Like we ran 105 miles in 7 days. I didn't come from a running background. I was football. I was 6 second burst, put someone on the dirt, and like you're done. Okay. This is hours and hours of mileage. And I made a goal from the beginning of that week that I was gonna finish this 100 miles, the 100-mile week for prep. And our peak week, it was 105 miles on the plan. New Year's Day, I was 3 AM. I was, for some reason, I must have like it was some sort of sickness. I think it might have been from the water fountains in Miami. I'm on my like bathroom floor at 3 AM, like just cold sweat and chills. I'm only halfway through. I know if I don't get this peak week done, like psychologically, that's just gonna eat me in the back of my mind for this race. So I literally just manned up. I've literally, because Brad and Elle were here, I manned up. I hit the gym with them. I had to leave the like because I was gonna just force myself to get it done. I had to leave the gym. I was sick, like I couldn't do it. I went back, slept for an hour. They said they were gonna wake up. They said they were about to start the run. I just slapped water on my face and I said, I'm doing it. I ran 15 miles that day. I woke up. I'm like, it hurt. It did not feel good, but I know that I would not be as confident that I'm gonna finish without getting that week done. And we had a 31-mile run the next day after that. The 31 miles, see, it's crazy to say because like it's such a different beast because marathons are hard in a sense where you're trying to go as fast as you can for like 4 hours. Okay. So you're trying to like keep a sustainable pace and not overexert yourself. But something where it's 100 miles, it's so mental in the fact that you kind of hit a peak where you're as fatigued as you're gonna be, and you just need to problem solve while you go. So say you get to like mile 50 and say you're starting to cramp, that's a problem. You have to get some salt tablets in you, you have to roll out the muscle, you have to calm down the tweak that gets in your mind to finish that race. And something that I've learned honestly in prep is that your mind knows you better than anybody and your mind knows you better than any person you're ever going to meet, and it's never late. It always shows up on time. Your mind gets very creative on ways it wants to get you to quit. Okay, some of these miles gets really hot. Your back feels like you're in an oven. It's like 4 a.m. and like there's always just that human negative voice that you have to destroy every day. It's like, you're not built for this. It's like, like this is for other people who are supposed to be marathoners. Like you're not a strong runner. You just have to have a stack of proof every day that, I've done every single part of this plan right. I've finished every single mile. I've kind of shut that voice up in a sense where I just did so much work that I've replaced it with a stronger voice that, I could run it right now. I'm so confident that if it showed like, if they switched it to tomorrow, say the stream needed to happen this day, I could wake up right now and go because, you just stack wins and once you make that plan and every day you check off the boxes that you need to check off, that's all the data you need to prove to yourself. You don't rise to your expectations, you fall to your training. And we've put so much time and effort the past 3 or 4 months that I'm so confident the boys are going to show up and just dominate because we've outworked our self-doubt. And that's something that's very rare to say.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're excited
Let's
for
go.
you.
We'll be
and,
following along.
Definitely we'll be following
Yeah.
along, Mark. We
I know we are,
appreciate the
boys.
time today. And everyone out there, Discipline to Win followers, follow Mark on all socials. Definitely tune in for his race, 100 miles. It's going to be on Twitch. It'll be on YouTube. They're going to be doing a whole broadcast of it. So definitely tune in and watch the boys get after it. Know you guys are going to crush it and finish. And
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate you having you on today, Mark. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
it was seriously. Thank you guys for having me on. I love what you guys are doing, and this was great today. Thank you guys.
Good to meet you,
Awesome.
Mark. Thank you.
Hey, great to meet you guys. Thank you.